Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. So today I've got a very special guest. We're in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and Malaysia is a very popular destination for expats. It's got everything living in this city, this country. So our guest is Lewis. Lewis is from a company called ShareC Consulting. And I want to be asking Lewis about what's the process to move to Malaysia, get the permits, the passes to be able to legally stay here. So Lewis, welcome. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your company?
Thank you very much, Matt, for having us today. So a brief introduction. So we have been in this business consulting businesses for more than 5 years actually, but we moved into office officially during COVID.
Oh.
So our services, we help our clients to incorporate their companies and provide other business solutions, accounting, auditing, and helping them to get the necessary visas to stay here as long as they want as well.
So, all right. So let's talk about moving to Malaysia. To come into Malaysia as a tourist, you get like a 90-day pass, right, to be able to stay here?
Depends on which country you're from.
Yeah.
If you're from European countries, the Western countries, then mostly it's 90 days.
90 days.
But if you're from, for example, China, then it's 30.
30
so
days.
it depends.
Okay. So let's say someone comes here, they love the country, they love the city. I came here way back in 2014. Immediately I thought, this is a place I want to be. So someone wants to come and live here and they happen to be an entrepreneur. They've got a business. Ideally, it's one where they're not really tied down to the location, so they can move operations if they want to. So if that person can move here, move their business here, how are they able to get a visa to live here, moving their business? What would be the process and what are the options?
There are numerous options actually, but if it's business oriented, there are a few. So one of it being a digital nomad kind of pass, but it has, if you are in the IT industry and you are a digital nomad, then you can apply for the Digital Nomad Pass and you can stay here for up to 2 years.
Wow, so they can live here without leaving the country for 2 years?
Yes. Unfortunately, the way our Malaysia government works is that they do take their fair share amount of time to process the application. So it might take a little bit longer than,
What kind of businesses would that be? So when you say digital nomad, do you mean like a software, or could it be something like they're selling an information product or doing affiliate marketing? Would that count?
It depends. So the government, they prefer digital nomad in terms of programmers. It's on the government website, so you guys can check it out.
Yeah, we can link to that so you guys can see the different types. So let's say that they qualify, so they can now come here for 2 years. What is the process to get all the paperwork done where they can actually fly here, find an apartment, start living here for the 2 years?
Okay, so the application for Digital Nomad is free. It's online, so you can. There's no agent required in between. You can do it yourself. So you need to upload some basic documents such as your passport, your resume, your certifications, how much your salary. Because most importantly, the government, they want to make sure that you'll be able to sustain yourself when you're here.
Yeah,
that's the most important part of it.
So they could do that themselves through the website. And typically, like, how long do you think it would take to hear back from the government as to whether you got it or not?
I'll say 3 to 6 months maybe. So it's gonna take a while for this option. I mean, of course, there are other options as well.
Okay. What are the main options that you yourself, through your service, when you're helping people to move here, is the Digital Nomad Pass the main one, or are there other different ones?
We do have other options as well. Our other clients, they are in different industries. Mm-hmm. So in Malaysia, in different industries, the Expatriate Pass application has different requirements. My clients, most of them, they are manufacturers. So if they get the licenses, they can just, they need to apply for the license. They need to set up the company, comply with the requirements with immigration, and then they can apply for their workers for the Expatriate Pass.
For the Expatriate Pass?
Yes.
Okay, so the Expatriate Pass, is that different to the Digital Nomad one?
Yes, it's different. So the Digital Nomad is more like a social visit type of pass.
Yes.
But you can still set up your business here. I mean, setting up a company in Malaysia is fairly simple.
So the Expatriate Pass, how long can you live here for with that one?
Usually it's approved for 1 year term. Then it's renewal year by year.
So you'd get like a stamp in your passport that says, you can be here for 1 year.
Yes. Most of the time it's approved for 1 year, but there are cases it's 2 or 3. but those are rare cases.
So if someone wants to get that expatriate pass, are there any specific types of businesses that they need to have?
Not really, but they can register their company in Malaysia, and then depending on which industry they're in, they just need to get the license from the government. But then there are various types of license, and the requirements are, there are all sorts of requirements. So it might be a little difficult for us to explain it explicitly in this interview. So maybe if the audience would like to, understand more, always feel free to drop us a message.
Yeah, we'll put a link to your service below. Okay, so with that expatriate pass, you said they need to register a company.
Yes.
Let's talk about that for a second. So if you want to register a company here in Malaysia, what is the type of company? What's the process? Can you walk us through that?
Okay, so for foreigners, registering a company in Malaysia, it has to be a private limited company. So you need to be at least 18 years old and above. You're not bankrupt, so you're not charged overseas, or you're not a criminal. And then all you need is a Malaysia residential address, and then you can register a company. It's very simple.
A residential address. So you would just go and find a rental.
Yes.
As a foreigner, now you've got an address.
Yes, and you can set up a company.
And is that something that someone would do themselves, or would they contact someone like you to do that for them?
To set up a private limited company in Malaysia, so the client must go through a company secretary, because it's a regulation by the government. So they must appoint a company secretary to help them to set up the company.
And how does that work? Do you need to have like directors who are resident in Malaysia with that company, or can the foreigner be the director and own all the shares?
Yeah, in Malaysia, a foreigner can be a sole director and sole shareholder structure. So foreigner can be the sole director and own 100% of the share, no problem. It's just that it gets a little bit tricky when it comes to the licensing part, because the licensing, they might have their own terms. But setting up the company, no problem. Yeah.
When you say licensing, what is that? Like the business needs to have a license?
Yes.
Operate.
Yes, correct. So for example, in China, when you register a company in China, it automatically becomes, you can use the registration as a business license. But in Malaysia, setting up the company doesn't mean that you have the approval from the authority to conduct the business. You need to get the license, corresponding licenses.
To legally operate?
Yes.
And have that license?
Yes.
What is that license? Is it like just a piece of paper you stick on your wall, or what?
Yes, it's a pieces of papers that you stick on the wall.
So that says you're legally allowed to operate, to purchase things from vendors, to sell to consumers here in Malaysia, as long as you have that license?
Not necessarily. It depends. For example, in our manufacturer clients' cases, because they're manufacturers, so the government will require their data for their policy. So they will need to register themselves so that the government are aware of their presence in certain places.
Yep.
Yeah, things like that.
And then what's the process to get the license? Is that something you guys can help with, or do they go to the government website to do that?
We do assist our clients to apply all sorts of licenses. But of course, clients are free to, go the terms and conditions of the respective licenses.
What would be the typical cost for something like that? If I come to you and say, okay, I want you to register a company, and I want you to help me get the license so I can start operating and hiring staff. Ballpark, what's the rate?
Usually, it depends on what types of licenses, but usually it's around 4 to low 5 figures ringgit Malaysia. So
Ringgit Malaysia, 4 to 5 figures. So in the thousands to above 10,000 ringgit.
Yes, correct.
Which in US dollars, $2,500 US dollars.
Yes, around that.
That would get them the company and a license, roughly.
Yes.
Okay. So once they have the company, they've got the license, then what? Is that when you then go and get the expat pass so they can legally stay here for 1 year?
Yeah, then after getting the necessary documents, setting up your company, then we can proceed to register with the immigration under the company, and then after approval, you can start submitting your personal information, your passport, your resume, certificates, and all that, employment contract, saying that you're working under the company, your own company. Then the immigration will take their own fair share amount of time to process. I mean, nowadays it's getting better. It's maybe just a few weeks.
A few
A
weeks.
few weeks.
Okay, so someone can create a company here and then effectively hire themselves to get that expat pass to be able to legally live here,
Yes.
get bank accounts as well.
Company account, current account, yes.
Uh-huh.
Subject to the bank's terms.
Yep.
We do have banks that are friendly with foreign entrepreneurs.
Uh-huh.
And we do have local banks that are not so friendly, as in they require our clients to have the necessary working pass. But then, it's an egg and chicken kind of thing,
Right.
Yeah, because you need to have a bank account, current account, before you can apply with the immigration. So
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Before you can apply with immigration to get that expat pass, you need to have a
current account.
current account for the company.
Yes, for the company. But then most of the local banks will say, hey, if you want to open a bank account with us, you need to have a work visa first.
So the expat pass and the work visa.
That's the same thing.
So you've got to, through your service, you've got to pick which banks are more friendly to
Yes.
foreigners coming here and kind of understand what you said. It's like which comes first,
Yeah.
And then, so the time frame, let's say that someone's watching this right now and they think, okay, I'm ready to move. I want to move to Malaysia. I can move my business there. I want to get set up. What is the time frame to register a company, get bank accounts, get the pass, all of that so they can come here? Ballpark, what would that be?
Terms and conditions apply. So for setting up a company, it's very simple. After receiving the supporting documents from clients, setting up the company takes roughly 3 to 5 working days.
Oh, it's very quick.
It's very quick. But then when it comes to the expatriate work pass application, well, it's gonna take around 1 to 2 months, I think.
Okay, so the whole thing we can say within 3 months.
Or about
they
that.
could move to Malaysia,
Yes.
have the company, have the bank account.
Bank account will take around 5 weeks kind of time.
Okay.
Yeah, subject to bank's
Yeah.
approval.
And have that employment pass in their passport so that when they come in, or they can stay in the country,
Yeah.
where you're staying for a year at a
Yes,
time.
correct.
Okay, well that's pretty good. Within 3 months, it's not too long.
On average.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Now, as for like actually living here, so they can go and find an apartment to rent. That's not a problem as a foreigner.
Yeah.
They've now got the bank account. They can now stay here for 1 year, so they're pretty much good to go at that point, right?
Yes.
Now, so we talked about Digital Nomad Pass. That one's 2 years. The Expat Pass for 1 year. Are there any other ones that you would recommend, or that you working with your clients you typically get?
In Malaysia, east of Malaysia, there's an offshore island called Labuan. So you can get a work visa from Labuan as well. But you can stay in
That's part of Malaysia.
Yes, that's part of Malaysia.
Part of Malaysia. It's a
Well,
state.
although not, how do I put it? It's not recommendable, but you can do it. It's no problem from the legal point of view.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's much more expensive, I would say, compared to the option that I mentioned earlier.
More expensive to what? To set up the company or to get the...
Since it's an offshore kind of thing, so all the charges are in dollars, and so usually around 6 to 7,000 US dollars from the company setting up all the way to the 2 years employment pass. You get 2 years straight away.
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to be clear, Labuan is a state of Malaysia?
Federal territory.
A federal territory. Okay.
Just like Kuala Lumpur.
Why would a company go to Labuan over, say, coming to Kuala Lumpur to register the company? What are some advantages?
The process to obtaining the work pass, the expatriate pass, it's much easier. You just need to set up a company, pay the government fees 2 years in advance, and then you got it. You just need to fly to Labuan, get your work pass issued over there, and it's done. You don't need to get all the licenses from which I've mentioned earlier, so that saves at least 2 months of time. And when it comes to the licensing, unless you fulfill all the terms, then else you'll be having some issues in obtaining the license, which might affect getting your expatriate pass.
So it's much easier to get that expat pass if you register the company in Labuan.
Yes.
And you got a 2-year pass.
Yes.
How far is that flying from Kuala Lumpur? It's close, right?
I went there like a few months ago, so it was, if I remember correctly, around 1.5 hours.
So if they go there and they register the company in Labuan, let's talk about a couple of things. Number one, the banks there, I assume they're the same exact banks as in Kuala Lumpur, right? Same banks?
Yes.
So they can still get a bank account with that company.
Oh, it's even easier in Labuan. So how it works is that after setting up the company for our clients, and we submit the work pass application for our clients. So after immigration approves it, we will accompany our client to go to Labuan and then go to the immigration office over there. The immigration officer will issue the work pass right away for our client.
Yeah.
And it takes about, maybe 30 minutes. Then we will hit to the bank to open the account concurrently.
Wow. So it's quite easy. One trip there to get everything done.
Yes.
Is that a different immigration department to what's here in Kuala Lumpur or same one?
I mean, basically they are just immigration, so it's just different office, different branch.
Different office.
Yes.
Now, I read somewhere that the taxes in Labuan are much lower.
Yes.
They're really, really quite good. If you look at anywhere in the world for a company to be based out of, it's quite favorable. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What is the corporate tax rate in Labuan?
It's about 3%.
3%.
Yeah.
3% of their
Profitable,
taxable,
yes.
Okay, of their profits.
Yes.
That's really low.
Yeah, that's really low, but the terms and conditions apply. So previously was depends on which industry you are in. So in general, taxable income is at 3%. Terms and conditions apply. You need to have you need to employ 2 staffs over there. You need to have an operational office over there. So yeah, that might incur additional operational expenses on the client's behalf. But some clients, they don't mind because they will have an office over there. So it depends on what the client needs.
So they want to see that you have real operations there, that you are actually based there. So you said you need an office, two staff in the office.
Yes.
As a minimum.
Yes, that's minimum.
What's it actually like? Is it a big town, a city? What's it like there?
Well, it's quite a small town actually.
Small town.
Yeah. Most of the companies that set up there are related to the oil and gas industry. So yeah.
So do you have a lot of foreigners, a lot of your clients who go that route? They want to set up in Labuan?
Yes, mostly are foreigners. Mostly are foreigners.
So 3%, that's what it is, 3% flat on the taxable, on the net profits.
Yes, in general. So if the audience would like to get more information, feel free to,
Sure.
put some message.
Yeah. Does it vary by industry or business type? It's a little bit different?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. So let's get into it maybe next time. Yeah.
It's best they reach out to you directly to find out specifics of that. But broadly, it's around 3% broadly across the board.
Terms and conditions apply. Yes, as usual.
Got it. Okay. So I can see why a lot of companies would want to move there. I mean, that sounds really good. So, okay. Now, if you did register in Labuan, that's where your parent company was, that's where you're set up. Can you still live in other parts of Malaysia, such as Kuala Lumpur, that employment pass, like residentially? Can you get an apartment in Kuala Lumpur and then get a local bank account, personal bank account?
Yes, you can.
With the employment pass?
Yes, you can.
Excellent. Can you then have an office in Kuala Lumpur or other parts, or do you need to keep everything in Labuan?
By right, you need to keep everything in Labuan. If you want to have office in Kuala Lumpur, then you will need to actually register for, you need to tell the authority in Labuan that, hey, we are setting up an additional office in Kuala Lumpur and pay some additional government fees.
It's like another company that's under the parent company, or it's just
the same company, but it's a marketing office. They'll call it marketing office.
That's very good. Yeah, I think when you look at all the different places around the world where you could have a business from a tax standpoint, that's quite favorable. That's really good.
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And I don't think a lot of people know about it. Like if you go to Australia or the US or Canada, a lot of entrepreneurs, when they're looking to move overseas, because they have businesses that are not so location dependent, they can run the business from virtually anywhere. So they're willing to go overseas, move everything. I don't think a lot of people know about Labuan as an option.
It seems like not much marketing has been done by our government on this.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a hidden gem.
Hidden gem.
So as far as moving to Malaysia, what would you say are the biggest mistakes that people make when they try and do this on their own?
Well, it's from my personal point of view, I do believe that it's good that the entrepreneurs, they know more about the terms and conditions. But what they are unable to understand is that, well, contrary to other countries, it might take a little bit longer for our government, the departments to process their applications and that kind of stuff. So they sometimes, most of the time, my clients, they will come back and tell me, hey Louis, why is it taking so long?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it kind of messes up their schedule, etc.
So yeah, you've got to be a little bit more patient here with processes.
Yes. So it's recommended that clients do not come over here before their expatriate pass gets approved, because by right you are not supposed to be in Malaysia until it's approved.
They should do all of this from their home country. Get in touch with someone like you, and you're saying you can start setting up the company, working towards getting the expat pass.
Yes.
Before they ever come here.
Correct. Setting up a company, we can do it online as well. But I think the best way, from my perspective, is that I think the client should come over here to feel how it is in Malaysia first before getting into it.
Yeah. So come here on a tourist visa. Let's say they're from Australia. You're going to get 90 days, like me.
Yes.
See if they actually like it. Maybe meet with you face to face. Decide if they want to move here, and then the rest of it. So getting the company set up, they can go back to their home country while you're working on that. They don't need to come back here to get that finished. The bank account, I'm assuming they would need to come back here.
Depends on how we arrange it. If during their 3-month stay here, they decided to set up company, we can arrange for them to meet the banker before they go back, so they can get their bank account open.
And then for the employment pass, the expat pass, same thing. Right?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah. For that part, they would need to come back here to get the stamp at the immigration office.
Yeah, after it's approved.
So then they're ready to now move here. So they move here, go to the immigration office, get that stamp in their passport, and then they're good to go at that point.
Correct. Yes.
So it's fairly easy. Like, there's not a lot of trips back and forth. It's like one trip, see if you like it, sign some documents, and then you come back maybe 3 months later, and
we go through the trips on behalf of our clients.
Yeah. So you guys do all of that for your clients. Now, I think you said 6,000 to 7,000 USD ballpark if you want to do this through the Labuan route,
correct.
Right? What would someone be looking at if they want to engage your company to do all this for them, all the pass, the company, everything? Is that the fee for everything, or what would be the fee to do everything?
It depends on which industry the client is in.
Yeah.
I mean, it varies. It varies greatly. But then setting up a company in Kuala Lumpur, not the Labuan one, is we offer standard package. It costs about $600 or something.
In
Kuala Lumpur, not the Labuan, not the Labuan one.
Yeah. So Labuan's quite a bit more, but it's also got a lot
but the
advantages.
but it comes the figure that we talk about just now. It comes with the employment pass of 2 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite reasonable. That's actually I think that's pretty good. Now, as far as getting bank accounts here, so when they do get their bank account, this is all local ringgit, Malaysian ringgit, right? Or
yes.
Can they get different a multi-currency account like US dollars?
For current company account, so the bank do allow them to set up a different currency account. So clients are free to open additional accounts under the bank. You can have US dollars, renminbi, the Chinese yuan, and etc.
Okay, so they can then start accepting payments from customers all over the world, and they can have different currencies.
Yeah, sure. I mean, previously back then when we were still focusing on local Malaysian clients, when we have US dollars coming in, the bank just automatically converting the US dollars to ringgit for us. It's quite flexible, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Back to the tax for a company in Kuala Lumpur or in Labuan. If they are getting paid by customers overseas, let's say the customers were in Canada and they're paying Canadian dollars, something like that. Does that, first of all, does Malaysia tax on foreign sourced income?
No, it's this. The government, they only tax after the on the taxable profit, so they consider it's the same.
Okay, regardless of whether the customers
Yes.
are overseas or local in Malaysia. So Labuan, it's roughly 3%, but in Kuala Lumpur, what would the corporate tax be in the rest of Malaysia?
This year onwards, it's going to be flat 24. It's going to be 24% for foreign-owned for foreign-owned companies. With more than 20% foreign ownership, it's going to be 24% onwards.
So quite a bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, what other services can your company help people with? So you can help with setting up a company, getting that pass so they can stay here, bank accounts. That's incredible. Like those are the main things. Are there any other areas that you'll help people with?
Well, other than setting up companies and applying for Expatriate Pass, we do help our clients to do their accounts, auditing and taxations, licensing applications, and generally business consulting.
So when someone's got to submit all their documents to the tax department, all of that, you guys can do all of that.
Yes.
That's really good. Now, I know you can't give specifics because it's going to depend on industry and so on and business, but like ballpark for you guys to do the accounts and handle the tax, submitting documents, all that per year, what would that be like?
Maybe 5,000 to 8,000 ringgit.
Ringgit. Okay, so that's very reasonable. That's
around
1,500 US to 2,500, 3,000 US, something like that. That's very reasonable. All right, well, guys, I think we're getting the sense here that Lewis is very handy to have helping because you guys can do pretty much everything. So if someone wants to reach out to you, we're going to put a link somewhere below this video where they can get in touch with you. Let's say they just want to talk to you first. They want to do that, a 30-minute consult and just ask you some general questions about their situation. Can they do that? Are they able to get on a call with you?
Sure. We have been doing that all this while for all of clients, so no worry.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, so guys, I'm going to recommend that if you are interested in moving to Malaysia, there's a lot of advantages here. I mean, we talked about, there's tax, there's the lifestyle living here, but really the lifestyle is one of the main things. This is a great city to live in. Kuala Lumpur, it's got everything, dining, residential. If you live around the city center especially, I mean, I think it's a great place to live. I've been here a number of years, not full time, but I come in and out, and every time I come back to Kuala Lumpur, I think, this is a great base to have. But if you are serious about moving here or you just have some questions, get in touch with Lewis. He'll talk to you on a call. And I think just from the standpoint of making this as simple as possible, it's better to do everything with one person. If you try and have someone for banking, someone for doing your accounting, someone for doing the expat pass, then it's just messy. But if you can have one company, one service provider do it all, it's easier. You can streamline
It's
everything.
more convenient.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So thank you very much, Lewis. If you guys want to get in touch with Lewis, again, there'll be a link somewhere below, or you can reach out to me and I'll put you in touch with him. Lewis, thank you very much.
Man.
I appreciate your time. And guys, hope you got something out of this interview, and we'll see you on the next one.